Aren't you supposed to take a girl somewhere every once in a while? The coast is 40 minutes away. Just take your fucking girl to the coast. So I was gonna make a video about getting stuck in sleep processing and how to get out of it. So I made some notes and I realized I'm an idiot and I don't really know how to get out of it. And mostly I just sleep process about how to get out of sleep processing. I'm doing some things right, but in a lot of cases I know what I need to do and I'm not doing it because I'm addicted to sleep processing. So I'm going to talk about some of the things you can do to get out of sleep processing, but I'm not actually doing a lot of them. But you can if you want to, because they might work. Yeah, sleep processing is kind of where I live. And sure, I do it too much. It's overkill. But it's also valuable. It's a superpower in a way. It's just that it gets really unbalanced. But it's not useless. There's some really good things about sleep processing. And it's also just how I operate, and I'm probably always going to do it more than someone who does it much less. And it's just sort of who I am, and I don't really know how to not do it. And it also serves me well in a lot of situations, maybe. But doing it so much all the time is kind of gross and embarrassing. Like I'm bathing in my own dirty bath water over and over again and loving it. And everyone can see that nothing is getting cleaner, least of all me. And I look like a crazy person, like a really self-important, self-focused crazy person. And nobody really wants to hang out with a crazy person that bathes in their own filth. But as I get older, I'm at least more conscious of it. Like within the sleep processing, I wake up and realize that I'm doing it, and then at least kind of try to get outside of my own mind and outside of myself and out into the real world. And sometimes I'm successful, but I'm just not very good at it the way that some people are. So here are some of the things that I would try to do. Really anything that requires presence is good for getting out of sleep processing. Ideally, my favorite thing to do would be to have an actual one-on-one conversation with someone. I love to be present with another person and really listen to them and understand them and comprehend what they're saying. And I mean face to face. A real person in real life, or at least a video chat, because I am over text. The way that I can be present with someone and understand them is by reading the NF live. That's what I'm reading. So I am so over messaging. I'm so over not really knowing what the person means or not being able to read their mood through the text. It just drives me crazy. It's not real. It's not really knowing someone. It just feels really hollow and like there's not enough information in text. And that's what a lot of my relationships are. They're just text-based relationships, and I'm really over it. People reach out to me sometimes in Messenger to kind of talk something through, like some issue that they're having. And I'm just thinking, for the love of God, jump on a Zoom call with me, because I can't read your NF through this text. Like, how can I help? How can I understand and reflect back to you what you're saying to me if I don't have the NF of it? So anyway, being present with a real person, like having a lovely coffee date with someone, a real conversation, that gets me out of my sleep processing because I'm taking in someone else. But that's not always possible. It's not like coffee dates grow on trees. But there's always at least the grocery store and the checkers at the grocery store. Good old Nadine. I go to the grocery store once a week and I at least have this one human interaction with Nadine, this chit chat, and it's just really nice. I have massage clients too. Some of them are talkative, some of them aren't. But there's at least the time before the massage and after the massage where I get to be really present with someone and practice that play energy, and I'm not in my sleep processing. Also, doing anything that quiets my thoughts and quiets the mind. I've heard this my whole life. You gotta quiet your mind. You have to slow down your thoughts. And I'm like, yeah, meditation, whatever. I didn't really see the value in it because there's so much value in sleep processing. And that's what I'm addicted to and going to all the time. So I didn't really put much effort into actually quieting my mind. But I have actually gotten better at it over the years. So one of the natural ways that I can quiet my mind that I was sort of born with, didn't have to learn, was just born this way, is that when I sing, when I am playing guitar and singing, I'm not thinking. There's no thoughts underneath the song. I'm just in the song, like sort of channeling it through me. And there really aren't a whole lot of thoughts. It's just me being completely in the moment of expressing the song. And I could do that more often. You know, I go through periods of time where I'm doing a daily practice, and that's really great. It's at least like a moment away from my own thoughts, channeling and expressing something extrovertedly. But the other way that I've learned to do it is just by focusing on one thing. And for me, really the only thing that works is audio. Because I know some people can look at an object, like look at their hand and become really present, or look at a candle flame and become very present. It really just, for whatever reason, doesn't work that well for me, but through listening, it does work. And what works best is white noise, or anything that's droning, like a droning ambient sound. So when I'm listening to white noise or some kind of droning sound, it could be the compressor of some fucked up refrigerator, you know, just like a white noise. I'm only doing that one thing. I'm only listening. And so the thoughts just kind of fall away because I'm so focused on only listening. So that's a way out of sleep processing because you can't sleep processing when you're doing that. But I don't do that for long stretches of time. But you know, I can sit down and do that for 10 or 20 minutes in a day. And it does make me feel relaxed and feel like I've gotten a little bit out of that sleep processing. But is meditation really not sleep processing? I don't know. Anyway, it's a break from all the fucking noise in my mind. And when I do this at night, listen to white noise, that's the last thing I remember. I fall asleep right away. But if I do it during the day in the non-sleeping hours, I don't fall asleep. I just kind of go into a quieter mind sort of space. I've tried to practice presence during massage sessions, but that's a little bit too advanced for me because there's too much going on. I'm not focusing on one thing. There's a lot of things. I'm looking at the timing. I need to be aware of the timing of the massage session. I'm thinking about what my body's doing, what the client's body is doing. I'm thinking about all the shit I need to do after this massage session is over and before the next one. It's just hard to quiet my mind. And also, after 20 years of massage therapy, I'm sort of addicted to sleep processing in that space. And so in a massage, I go to sleep processing and I'm like mulling over all of my known information and figuring things out and putting things together in my mind. I'm switching between that and checking in with the client, looking at the clock, but it's like a lot of sleep processing. And I've tried to just take away the sleep processing and do like presence and then checking the clock and checking this and that. But it just feels a little bit too advanced for me. So another thing that would be really, really awesome for me to do, and I know it would be, but I don't do it, is just get out of my routine, away from my house, away from my routine, do something different. And I'm really, really bad at doing this, especially on my own. I feel like I try to make it someone else's responsibility to get me out of the house and take me somewhere. When I was younger, I used to just jump in my car and drive to the coast or do little adventures. Not as much as some people, but at least more than what I'm doing now. And now I have all these excuses. Well, for one thing, I can't drive to the coast because the tires on my car are really bad and need to be replaced, and that would be dangerous. But I could go somewhere closer by. And I did recently go to a cafe, which was outside of my normal routine, because I always just drink coffee at home. We have really excellent coffee. But I went to a cafe just because it would be something different. But it wasn't really different. I was just sitting there alone at a cafe sleep processing because I didn't have like a person to talk to. You know, it would be excellent if there was a good conversation and like a coffee date, but everyone around me is like wearing headphones or reading. And so I'm really just sleep processing in a different location and spending money on coffee. My partner's been playing a little bit of golf lately. So he does his work and then he comes home and drops his dog off at home. And then he gets back in his truck and he goes to this golf course that's nearby and he just hits some balls at the driving range. He's really good at it. He used to teach golf and he's just really athletic in general. So he's been going to the golf range and it's kind of cool because he gets a lot of compliments, you know, which I think makes him feel good because he's just really good at hitting balls, I guess. You know. And he just does this for like 45 minutes. It's a quick thing. Just goes out and then comes back. We've had some really sunny days recently, good weather. And there were a couple times when I just begged him to take me with him. The course is just a mile away. Just take me with you. I would like to hit some balls too. I think, you know, golf is not the most interesting thing to me, but I like hand-eye sports. I like, you know, anything where there's a target, shooting or archery or pool or throwing something in a basket. So I could enjoy golf. And even if it's not my favorite thing in the world, it's getting out of the house, getting into a different routine, doing something. But he will not take me. He just says, no, it's just my thing. I'm just gonna do it really quick and I'll be right back. And like, I totally get it. He can have his own thing. That makes sense. And it's not his responsibility to extrovert me. It's not his responsibility to get me out of the house. I should be able to do these kinds of things on my own, but I just don't. I feel like really a baby about it. Like I'm wanting him to be responsible. But also, aren't you supposed to take a girl somewhere every once in a while? Like, I mean, come on. We never do anything. The main thing that we do every day is eat dinner and watch a show together. And that's great. I look forward to it. But that is not leaving the house. I have these 3 days off right now because I worked really, really hard and I just need 3 days to rest my body and do anything other than massage. And I said, hey, why don't we jump in the truck tomorrow and go to the coast? We'll take the dogs. And he shut that down. Like, no, it's too complicated because Poppy sits in the front seat. Poppy's his dog that goes to work with him every day. She's used to sitting in the front seat and she'll be confused if I tell her to sit in the back. And it's a truck with like a little, it only has 2 doors and like the little half, back seat that like kids or small people can fit in. I can fit back there. I'll sit in the back. Poppy can sit in the passenger seat, just like always. She's the boss. She's your best girl. So of course she can sit in the passenger seat. I'll ride in the fucking wheel well. And he's like, well, we have Cedar too. He's really big. He's gonna have to sit in the back and all my tools are in there. I'm like, the coast is 40 minutes away. Just take your fucking girl to the coast, But then, like, it's not his responsibility. Whatever. If I need an adventure and I need to get out of my routine, then I need to just take responsibility for that and do it. But then at the same time, if I ever do have a coffee date with someone or like plan to go on a walk with someone, he gets all freaked out about it because it's outside of my normal routine. He's like, well, you don't socialize. You don't have friends. What are you doing? Who are you going out with? What are you talking about? What are you planning? Just jumps to these crazy conclusions when I'm just trying to like be a person in the world that interacts with other people and doesn't just stay home and in this like stifling routine all the time. And I love my routine. I am a very routine person, but there's just limits. Like, so yeah, if you're addicted to sleep processing, I highly recommend getting out of the house and getting out of your routine. But I haven't done it yet. So this video has really devolved into something gross. So in conclusion, that is my sleep processing about how to get out of sleep processing. Don't do it the way that I'm doing it because it doesn't work.